LCSE students of African history, Professor Eric Martin here. And let's talk about how we're going to use the Canvas site. I thought maybe what I'd do is just kind of walk us through a few various elements of the Canvas site. Most of us probably know a lot of this, but maybe it's useful to do this. So, when you log on, this is what it's going to look like. Um, and by the way, this map here is really cool. This is a ethnic and cultural map of Africa. So each of the regions in there represent an ethnic or a cultural group, a language, a religion, a people with their own political state. And it's pretty interesting when you take this and then you compare it to contemporary African political boundaries. And I'll let you do that on your own and figure out, what that does or doesn't mean. All right, so here we are on Canvas. Um, it's got a Zoom link up here. This is not a Zoom class. We'll be using Zoom office hours, but there's not a classroom to connect with. Don't forget to check out the announcements, right? The announcements. Don't forget to check out the syllabus. I got a whole video over the syllabus. Modules. These are not modules the way maybe they're used in some other classes, but I try to have our weekly assignments in it. Okay, and I'll go through some of that in a minute. Discussion boards, I could probably make this disappear, but I got it up there anyway. There's always going to be a link to the discussions through the modules, but it's just another way to get to the same thing. You're always able to see your grades. I'm not sure that we'll use Google Drive for anything. Assignments and quizzes. All right, that's easy enough. Now, on the video about the syllabus, I went over the syllabus stuff, so that's not really what I want to mess with. Let's mess with the modules. And there's not really a whole lot in the welcome begin here. You can look at some of this. The about your instructor has my contact information. So does the top of the syllabuses. If you've never used Canvas before, go through this stuff. If you've used Canvas before, I don't know how much I'd worry about it. Student resources. Some of y'all don't know that there's software programs that are available for free while you're a student at LCSC. This link will take you to some of that kind of stuff. You can talk to IT about that. The Writing Center is your friend. It is your friend in this class. The discussion boards, I want more or less formal, right? In terms of, I want you to make some efforts. But the stuff you submit, that ought to be stuff you would be happy to submit to an employer. So you might think about using the Writing Center to help draft some of that kind of thing. And lo and behold, they also are happy to work with you in the online format. Student Counseling Center, yeah, college can be, and your late teens, early 20s can be a time of extreme stress. And the Counseling Center can help you deal with that. Wide variety of things. But I know that, we've all got some kind of life going on outside of LCS or outside of our studies. Time management and the stress of time management can compound into all kinds of anxieties. The Student Counseling Center can help with that. All right. So here we got the week by week look at things. I've got this stuff listed as drafts. Doesn't mean you can't go in there. It just means that it's the reminder to me that I really haven't messed with it very well. But when you kick into week one, let's see if it works. Ha! There we go. I even got the latest video of myself in there, right? It kind of lays out, this is what we're doing week one, a video that introduces, the materials, and then as we go, maybe I'll put some kind of conclusions on there. But this is really your schedule, right? So, and feel free to look ahead. This gets you hooked up. You click on the link here, right? And this is going to take you to the Basil Davidson video. Now let's see if I can get it turned off. These links will kick you into the discussion board so that you know how to participate. What else do we have here? Seems about good enough for our purposes. Oh, I've got one more thing. Go to week 3. And you got that assignment. All right. And I'm going to suggest that you check out weeks. You think about week 1, 2, and 3 as kind of a block, right? And the deal is, we're not in a position for this to be a do it at your own pace class. You can do it kind of on your own time within a couple of days, but we're on schedules where we're doing things by the week. And for those of y'all who've already taken a look at the what to do week 1 stuff, some of that stuff we're doing, like, you got to get the discussion done by Thursday, and then we got another one due by Saturday. You want to do them early, that's awesome, but I want to keep things kind of in blocks if we can. We'll see how that works. Anyway, this is probably the real schedule as opposed to like what's going to happen on the syllabus. The syllabus will be as skeletal as possible. This is where I'll flesh things out. You might look at the last week of class. Don't worry about the Zoom debriefing. I'm thinking, don't worry about that African map quiz either, because I'm going to change that. I'm thinking about your formal essay, which will hash out a little bit more, but it will give you the idea about what to do. Okay. Well, let's talk about that. I've got this resource warehouse. It needs to be fixed up a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you about that. So I need to clean that up over the semester. Formal essay questions. Let's talk about this. Whole class is basically designed around this assignment. I know I talked about it somewhere else. I don't remember whether I deleted it. So if you've already heard this, you're going to hear it again. You should probably hear it. Right? This is your final essay. 8 to 10 pages. Use all your course materials plus one approved outside reading. Focus on historical debates and interpretations. This semester we've explored African history through a video series. Primary sources on East and West Africa by North African Muslim. That's the Ibn Battuta book. West African oral history. That's Sundiata. A film explaining the place of the griot in contemporary Africa. I haven't got to that yet. A set of debates on different aspects of the Atlantic slave trade. Historians look at colonialism from African perspective. And a work of autobiographical fiction, taking all those different kinds of historical sources. What did you learn about history? Describe, compare, contrast, and analyze the value and limitations of different types of historical approaches for studying African history. You can read the rest, okay? But the whole point is everything in this class is building up to this. So take your notes, think about this assignment. I like scaffolding, right? I like it to where we do one thing and we apply it to the next and apply it to the next. All right. And again, you'll find that in the resource warehouse. Learning through discussion guidelines. Here's the deal on these. When I've taught this class in my face-to-face varieties for the Basil Davidson videos that y'all are going to watch for the first, few weeks of class, the assignments have been one single spaced page outline this setup, right? List 3 to 5 words of which you're unsure, identify the main topic of the video, identify the subtopics of the video, identify some questions you would ask for each subtopic, integrate it with other materials, and then students show up to class, right, with this one-page set of notes. It's not an outline of the video. He talked about this, and then he talked about this. It's an outline of the main ideas in the video, and then we have really interesting discussions. Using the discussion boards for this class, this seemed a little, I don't know if it seemed redundant, but it seemed overwhelming. I left these guidelines up. If you don't know how to take notes on the videos, do it like this. All right, if you don't know how to take notes on the videos, do it like this, and it'll give you all the stuff you need to talk about. What else is in the resource warehouse? Book analysis. We're going to get into some book analyses. I've got a couple of examples here from previous students. This is really going to come into play when we get into some of the more the secondary sources. This is cool stuff for secondary sources. For primary sources, it's a little bit harder. So for our Ibn Battuta book and our Sundiata book, we're going to do a primary source analysis that's different than this. But we're going to do this for the rest of our books. It's not a book report. All right. Writing guidelines. Oh, look at all this stuff, right? Lots of videos I've shot in the past. I'm going to skip the first one and then come back to it. A quick video about how to address your writing assignments in the class. How to use the types of citations that I like to use. Some issues I've seen with comparative document essays and thought piece stuff. Now, these 4 videos, some of y'all have seen them before, right? Because I shot them for History 101, and I use them for every single class. You guys need to hear it over and over and over again. Just because you have seen them once, unless you're knocking out stone cold A's, watch them again. All right. If you've never had a class from me and you're not sure, watch them. Get an idea. This is particularly the case if you've never used footnotes before. We're going to use footnotes in this class. All right. Next. This is a 30-minute video, if I remember right. Yeah, it says right there, 30 minutes. This is my standard what is history talk. I give this talk in 101. I give this talk in 102. I give this talk in 200. Some of y'all haven't had those classes. It would be worth watching it. I am going to, don't worry, it says there's a short quiz. I'm not, there's no short quiz. I'm probably going to move this into the first folder when I get done here, just so that people know, because I think that history is an important thing to think about. It's more than just what happened in the past. We're working with data, and this video might help you make more sense out of the final assignment for this class, where it's asking you to compare and contrast the value of these different kinds of sources. Well, what is he talking about? This video will help with that. All right. What else we got? I'll throw some more book analyses in here. I'll try to find some that students have written from previous classes, but this is pretty good examples of writing assignments. I'll just keep building this, okay? But it gives you a sense of the style of writing I'm looking for. This Atlantic slave trade discussion presentation guidelines, Um, don't worry about this yet. I have not decided the most. I eat so without bogging this down. I've not decided what I want to do with this. When I first decided to teach the class, I thought I'd put you in groups and have you work together and develop a video presentation of the materials. And so students would give a video presentation, more or less, based on these guidelines. And then there'd be a discussion board discussion that would follow that. I think that's kind of cool. I think it's probably useful for 21st century skills. Whether or not it is a little bit, over the top work wise, I want to wait till we get a little bit closer to things and decide whether this is the way I want to handle things. All right, so you can just kind of skim it, and I'm open to feedback. Hey, I think that'd be cool, or I'd like to meet some people in this class. We can meet on Zoom and we can shoot our videos on Zoom and all that kind of stuff, or not, right? So you guys give me a little bit of time on this, but I left it up so you could kind of see what I was thinking about. And then transferable skills document's probably not going to make a whole lot of sense to you without some explanation. But at one point in time, I had the head of the LCSC Student Employment Center come and help students understand that the stuff you're doing in this class is directly transferable into employment. Group projects, right? Teamwork, communication, problem solving, you guys see, you can read it. Research. You guys can read sort of how the assignments or the thing can transfer into an employment skill. And I think lots of times when people are taking history courses, and I'll just use the example of the history major, the thought sometimes is, oh, well, I don't want to be a historian, so there's no point in being a history major. And it's like, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, you pick up all these skills. I mean, writing skills, communication skills, understanding of political and cultural context, able to work in teams, able to work with data. All that kind of stuff serves, that's employable stuff. So anyway, I'll continue to build that as we go. And I'm pretty sure that concludes our tour of Canvas. The site will change a little bit as we go. I'll inform you of it as we go. I really appreciate you showing me a little patience as we go. The conversion of some of this stuff is not as straightforward as you might think. And here I am shooting stuff in my basement. It's another one of those things that if we were going to have super high production value with green screens and whatever, some of this stuff might not get done, because in order for me to be able to do this with the videos, which I think is cool because I think that it helps me to convey the information maybe faster than a bunch of reading, and I also know that some of y'all it works for, and then you can do the reading. But the whole point is I kind of have to do it like on the fly, one take, as if I was in a classroom in order for it to be worth my time, because I can't keep doing it over and over and over and freaking out about, that kind of thing. Anyway, that's the deal. You guys hit me up if you've got any questions about anything, and enjoy your historical studies.